This has been a very weird week for the economy, but also weird in a way that I think the economy has kind of been all year. On the one hand, we got jobs numbers for September in. So economists were expecting that in those 4 weeks, the US economy added maybe 50,000 jobs. Instead, as it turned out, the US economy added over 100,000 jobs. That is really positive news coming out of the job market, which all eyes are on the job market right now because the job market is so foundational to our economy. You cannot have a healthy economy without a healthy job market. And it sort of seems like the job market is maybe at this turning point. At the same time, even within the jobs report, there was this mixed message. Unemployment rate rose to 4.4%. This is the highest unemployment rate we've seen in years. Still, a 4.4% unemployment rate is, historically speaking, incredibly low. Anything below 5% is seen as just an incredibly low unemployment rate. Another one of the major events in the economy this week has to do with the stock market. The stock market has had a very bad week and actually a pretty bad month. And a lot of it has to do with worries about an AI bubble, that all of the sort of froth and excitement and investment around AI, like maybe we've gotten out over our skis and valued this stuff too highly. And the extent to which AI kind of is fueling the stock market is pretty amazing and a little concerning. The Magnificent Seven tech companies, including Apple and NVIDIA, those companies, which are all very deeply involved in AI, now account for about a third of the value of the entire S&P 500. Looking at the stock market, the story of the stock market seems to be pretty scary right now. But then if you back up 6 months, the picture looks really different. And if you back up a year, the picture looks really different still. So I am a journalist. I am always looking for stories and narrative threads in the data. And I think this week, and honestly, this whole year, finding a narrative thread in the economy, in the economic data, has been incredibly hard. So, the economy this week, and honestly, this year, is telling some kind of story. It's just really hard to see what that story is, and nothing feels quite right. Saying the job market is really strong right now does not feel true. That does not feel right. And there's a lot of data to back up the fact the job market is quite troubled. But there's also a lot of data to back up the fact the job market is really strong. And the same thing with the markets. So it's been a very confusing and mixed week, and honestly, a very confusing and mixed year.